I just wanted to briefly address a point brought up by the representative from Texas, Ms. Crockett, who accused me and my colleagues over here of ignoring the Constitution.
I can't tell you how many lies are made up by MAGA followers about me. I done been all kinds of things, and none of it is true just because they put it out there on social media. That is the problem that we're having right now in this country, is that it seems like nobody cares about the truth anymore. And what we're trying to do is say we have a fact finding, and let me be clear. I am not saying that the criminal justice system or any other justice system has ever always been perfect. I am not trying to say that. But we do have a system, and that system is supposed to be based upon the Constitution. And right now, like literally due process comes from the Constitution. This should be the highest protections that one can have in the land. And right now, it seems like y'all don't care about the Constitution unless it's the Second Amendment, and that's misinterpreted as well, okay? There's other amendments to the Constitution, and we don't get to just change it because our fearless leader says that he doesn't like certain parts of the Constitution.
What's up, everybody? Major Retired Richard Ojeda here, and talk about a grand slam. Jasmine Crockett absolutely stepped up to the plate and knocked a home run straight out of the park. She wrecked him, tore him up from the floor up, gave him a checkup from the neck up, basically telling these fools that you can't scream freedom with one breath and piss on due process with the next.
If that were true, that'd be a very serious matter. So I did want to just inquire as to what exactly the accusation is. So I'll happily yield to the gentlewoman from Texas if she'd like to respond. Do you believe that someone who is snuck into our country, entered the United States illegally, that the due process requirements for that individual are the same as they are for a U.S. citizen?
I thought the question was for me, but it seems like the lawyers on this side, or just my entire team, knows the answer.
Mr. Chairman?
Per the Constitution, yes, if you are on our soil, you are guaranteed due process. And the fact that there's even a question is why we are struggling right now. In addition to, an additional issue that I have is the executive order that was signed by the president that seemed to get rid of birthright citizenship, which also is laid out in the Constitution, which is why even the most conservative judges have ruled against. There is no one that has ruled that that was okay.
Okay, thank you.
I mean, seriously, how can anybody be this damn stupid? You've got people in Congress making $174,000 a year. That's what, about $14K a month? Not including all the perks, the staff, the free health care. And they don't even know basic civics.
It's simply untrue. The Supreme Court has made it very clear that due process is a context-dependent inquiry. And someone who is here illegally in this country facing deportation, the requirements of due process are specific to that context. And the problem is that during the last administration, we had 10 million people who came into this country without the least amount of vetting. And it's created an enormous backlog in our immigration courts. Now, what we actually did in a measure that we passed in this committee a couple weeks ago, which I believe every member of the Democrat minority opposed, is we sought to provide the resources for our immigration courts to operate in a fair and efficacious manner by increasing the number of immigration judges, of lawyers, of courtrooms, in order to remove this backlog of millions of cases that now exist. So I think it's highly problematic to hear arguments about due process from the side that is actually voting against providing the resources that are needed for due process. But I think it's even more problematic to make the argument that an illegal immigrant, perhaps with a criminal record facing deportation, should receive the full measure of due process that an American citizen does. That simply is not what the Constitution requires.
They're out here making laws, but they don't understand the Constitution. What an absolute embarrassment. And each time Jasmine Crockett ended with, "Thank you so much," she might as well have said, "F you very much."
I just want to clarify, and I know that there's lawyers on that side. It's just like we have different standards in general. Like, you have a higher standard when it comes to a criminal case versus a civil case, right? So it's preponderance is going to be the burden on a civil case, and then it's going to be higher as it relates to a criminal case, right? It's beyond a reasonable doubt. That is going to be the burden of proof. When the Supreme Court was making distinctions, the distinctions weren't necessarily between is this person a citizen or is this person not. It wasn't a matter of certain people are not allowed to have due process, but it's kind of like there's different ways to evaluate things. The amount of protections that you are going to have in any criminal case. If you think about those that are charged with murder, whether they are a citizen or not, guess what? The burden of proof is still going to be the same. The burden of proof is still going to be beyond a reasonable doubt. There was never a distinction that said somehow, dependent upon your status, you somehow lose your access to due process. And frankly, that is honestly the only thing that the Supreme Court has been consistent on, is that there are due process rights that are going to be afforded to everyone that is found within our jurisdiction in the United States. I have not seen a case where they have said, no, it's okay for someone not to have due process. That is why the plane that was about to leave Texas, they said stop the plane literally at 1 a.m. because there had not been due process for those that were currently being held in the administration's custody. And thank you so much.
Doesn't know the law, doesn't know the Constitution, doesn't know whether he's in a hearing or an open mic night at a flat earth convention. It's absolutely pathetic. And the cherry on top, these are the same clowns trying to gut the Department of Education. I mean, what the actual hell? You don't know how government works, and now you want to destroy the thing that actually teaches it? No wonder we're struggling. It's like handing the car keys to a toddler and being shocked when it crashes through the garage. I mean, look at this guy, sitting there like Howdy Doody in a Navy suit, looking like he just got yanked out of a gift shop at Mar-a-Lago. This man talks like a ventriloquist dummy who graduated from Elon Musk's online university, flapping his mouth while someone else works the strings. Probably Trump, maybe Steve Bannon, hell, could be a chatbot by now. And the stuff he said, pure nonsense. Grade A backwoods barbecue conspiracy slop. He stood there, embarrassed himself and everybody in his district, and tried to twist the Constitution like it's a damn balloon animal. He doesn't want due process. He wants power with exemptions. Wants the Constitution to work like a rewards card, platinum status if you're white and conservative, and go stand over there if you're brown, broke, or inconvenient. So no, Kevin, you don't get to twist due process. You don't get to hide behind context when your whole damn party is out here trying to erase the context. You got exposed, and Jasmine Crockett didn't just check you, she folded you like a lawn chair in a hurricane. And if that didn't hit you in the gut, then I don't know what will. Because Jasmine Crockett didn't just respond, she showed us what it looks like when one side shows up with facts and law and the other side shows up with Fox News talking points stapled to a pile of bad intentions. Kevin Kiley wasn't just wrong, he was lost, gasping, spinning, bouncing off every pillar of democracy like a busted pinball. Due process, precedent, citizenship, human rights, just full tilt. No clue where the rails are. And Jasmine, she calmly ends with, "Thank you so much." Translation, game over, dumbass. It's terrifying, really, that someone so ill-informed, so clearly out of his depth, can sit in that chamber and write laws that will impact people's lives. The bottom line is this: due process is for everybody, no matter how hard they try to gaslight, distract, or outright lie. They can't cover up the fact. And that's what this whole damn hearing was supposed to be about. Not political theater, not courtroom cosplay, not MAGA grandstanding in a suit and tie. It's about constitutional rights for every human being under our flag on our soil. Instead, we watched a group of GOP morons trying to rewrite the rules in real time. And thank God for Jasmine Crockett, Pramelia Jayapal, and Jamie Raskin for reminding the country that the rules already exist, and they're written in the Constitution. Let's just call it like it is. Half this hearing was spent dragging Kevin Kiley by his clip-on tie. He got absolutely torn apart, fact by fact, amendment by amendment. So where's Marge the Trainwreck Green reducing salaries to $1 when you need her? So go take your taxpayer salary, your shredded talking points, and get the hell out of the way while the adults do the damn work. Because this is still a country of laws, and due process is not optional. Kevin Kiley, Jim Jordan, you are pathetic. Sell out excuses for what a legislation should be. You've turned your back on your oath, your constituents, and your country. You should be ashamed of yourselves, and that is an absolute fact. Sappers clear the way, airborne all the way.